Hey y'all, Southern Style Gaming here, and today, to cap off Zombies Month, I want to talk about my favorite Zombies maps. Now, I'm gonna put the title as a top 5, but real quick, before I get into those top 5, I want to quickly go through my 10 through 6, because I honestly just couldn't go without mentioning some of these maps, because they're classics, they're maps that a lot of people love, and at least a couple of them I'm sure people would be questioning me as to why I didn't even mention them. So, just real quick, I'm going to go through my 10 through 6 before I get into the top 5. Where I'm going to go into detail. I'm just going to quickly run through these. So my number 10 is Transit. I actually made a video about this. I know it's a bad map, but I think it's mostly just nostalgia for me. Just playing with my friends back in the day. I used to love playing this map with them, and it was such a great time. Even though, like I said, objectively, I know it's a bad map. There's so much wrong with it. But number 10 is Transit. Number 9 is actually Moon. I just love the setting. I love the aesthetic. Black Ops 3 specifically. I'm not actually such a big fan of the Black Ops 1 Moon, but Black Ops 3 specifically, I love it. The Astronaut sucks. The Zero G can suck sometimes, but otherwise, great map. Number 8 is Ascension. I think it's a great casual map. I think, if you're first introducing somebody to zombies and you think they're going to be bored by one of the more basic maps like, Town or, Verrucht or something like that, like, hop them on Ascension. Especially the BO3 version, although with this one I actually do think the BO1 version is still great. I think it's just the best map to have a chill game of zombies that doesn't just straight up get boring after like round 20. 7, this is going to be a big one that I know a lot of people are going to question. Origins. I know a lot of people love Origins, but to me it's just so overwhelming. Like there's so much in the map that you cannot not like it. There's so much to do, and it's all just so fun. Like you get an ultimate staff, the Easter egg, it's great, but there's a point where things get stacked up too high and the tower is about to tip over, and it just gives you too much anxiety, and I think that's where I'm at with Origins. And with number 6, I'm going to Rise and Drac. I know this is another one that people are going to ask me why on earth this is outside of my top 5, but I genuinely still think Rise and Drac is a great map. I love the bows, I love the Easter egg. Really, the things that I'm just not very fond of come down to the fact that there's really not any bad weapons. Like, this map is probably the easiest in Black Ops 3, and just in general, I'm not really fond of that, because you kind of get the same setup every time. And 2, I just played it way too much when it came out, and I think I just sort of tired myself out on it. So, yeah, with that said, that was my 10 through 6, and now we're going to get into the top 5. Okay, so I think it goes without saying that Der Riese is to zombies what Nuketown is to multiplayer. Like, it's vital. It's one of the most popular maps, and for good reason. It more or less revolutionized zombies, and I mean, you can sort of pinpoint why in just 3 words. I mean, Pack-a-Punch. That entirely revolutionized zombies, and on top of that, the map is just super fun in all 3 of its variants. I won't knock any of the 3. I personally kind of prefer the World at War version just because of that classic PPSH, but the Giant is fantastic, and while the clear third, the Black Ops 1 version is still a great map. I mean, camping on the catwalk is just so fun, and while it is very simple, you can't really train on the map. Well, I mean, I guess there are a couple spots where you can, but you have to be, like, expert level, which I am not. For the most part, this map is pretty straightforward, it's pretty simple, it's not a map that you're going to be pushing any boundaries on, but overall, it's just a map for great chill fun if you want to play with friends or even by yourself. And hey, I've probably put the most hours into the Giant just because, hey, if you need to farm liquid diviniums, this is the map to do it on. No doubt about that. Now, what makes Buried so special to me is really how it takes what's so great about Der Riese and just adds on top of it. So, Der Riese is a great casual map, and it's also very simple. On the other hand, Buried is also a great casual map, but it manages to have layers upon layers of complexity. I mean, there are so many little things to know about this map. I mean, using the candy for the buildables with the Giant, knowing all of the little camping spots around the map, which, by the way, this might be the best camping map in all of Zombies. I mean, you've got the spot by Jug, you've got on top of the bank, you've got down at Pack-a-Punch. There's actually one little spot that a lot of people never seem to have picked up on, but it's right here, this video that the gameplay that you're watching. It's right here in this little, hallway next to the corral in the courthouse. And, I mean, it's the perfect spot because you have an escape route. You just run up the stairs. No zombies come from behind you. So it's always just a clear shot up the stairs. And, you can just have your subsurface resonator, your head chopper, trample steam, all that stuff. Personally, I'd say put the trample steam over, by the area where they're coming out of the corral. But still, there are so many little things to know about this map. Locking down the box. I mean, everything that you can do with Vulture Aid. It's just all so incredibly good. And in fact, I even made a video earlier this month about a challenge that you can do because of all the little things with this map. And not to mention all of the great exclusive items to this map. I mean, the Paralyzer is the wonder weapon. It's one of the best of all time. You can fly with it. There's the time bombs. The bank is kind of a 50-50. Some people like it, some people don't. But the PhD permaperk, absolutely love it. Permaperks in general, I think, are something that got a lot of hate, but a lot of people seem to be looking back now and actually saying, yeah, this was actually really fun. And I think this map is one of the reasons why. I mean, the Tombstone permaperk, which is better than the actual Tombstone perk on Transit, all of that sort of culminates with what makes Buried such a fantastic map. So, in my opinion, Shadows of Evil is basically the perfected version of Origins. It's got all of the layers, it's got all of the complexity, it's got all of that sort of stuff, the same things that you could say about Origins, you could mostly say about Shadows of Evil as well. But it manages to just not be so overwhelming. And I don't know why. But there's just something about Shadows of Evil that just hits so well in terms of a story-heavy map. It's complex. There's so many little things to do. You can always learn something new in any match of Shadows of Evil. I mean, you've got the swords, you've got the Apothicon Servant, you've got the Rocket Shield. Just, the Pack-a-Punch. The way the Pack-a-Punch is done is so unique and just incredibly fun to do. And even the Margwa as a boss, I'm not gonna lie, at first I hated the Margwa, but it has grown on me so much over time. There's really nothing about this map that I don't like. The introduction of Widow's Wine was a great addition to Zombies perks, and just all of the little things about this map adds up to something absolutely outstanding. One of the best, and the aesthetic of this map, I mean, I love it. There is not another map like Shadows of Evil in terms of aesthetic. I mean, just that perfect Roaring 20s neon red look. It fits to a T. the characters fit this map so well, and just overall, I think Shadows of Evil is really an amalgamation of what Black Ops 3 needed to be, and it pulled it off extremely well. So, what can you really say about Gorod Krovi, except this map is classic. This map took everything great about the previous games. It really felt like a World at War map in Black Ops 3, and I mean, that was the general sentiment from the start of what this map really needed to be. And I absolutely love the aesthetic, but at the same time, it had all the amenities that a modern zombies map needed in Black Ops 3. It had a great wonder weapon, it had great specialty weapons. I absolutely love the gauntlet, love all the little time trial melee weapons you can get. The Easter egg, while difficult, is absolutely one of the most fun you can have in a zombies map. In my opinion, this is the peak of Black Ops 3. And I mean, I know Shadows of Evil could kind of say the same thing. But in my opinion, Gorod was everything that zombies had been leading up to. Like I said, it felt like a World at War map in the Black Ops 3 engine. And I feel like that was so perfect. It threw back with so many weapons, like the PPSH in the box. You had the FFAR, which was supposed to be like the FAMAS. You had the Ray Gun Mark III, something that everybody had been basically begging for up to this point. I think a lot of people forget, because of the fact that it's really not the best wonder weapon, that everyone had been begging for a Ray Gun Mark III at this point. And, I mean, when we got it, it was just so absolutely incredibly fun. I mean, the Shadow Claws, they brought back the bow from Black Ops 1, the Awful Lawton, I can't remember what it's actually called. I just know it might just be called the crossbow. But the Awful Lawton from Black Ops 1 came back as the MX Shadow Claws, although its use is extremely different. This might just be one of the most OP weapons to use in co-op in Gorod Krovi. I mean, the boss fight's a little bit of a letdown. But other than that, everything else about this map, the Dragon Shield, the way that you get to the Pack-a-Punch, and it's in that little house, the way you do the lockdown to get the Dragon Strike, it's all just so fantastically fun. And like I said, this really was the peak of zombies. In the words of the great Jason Blundell, I'm a sucker for Bay Area prisons. So yeah, obviously my number one pick. If you've been following the whole video, you probably could have guessed it by now, just through process of elimination, that my number one spot is Mob of the Dead. And why should it not be? Everything about this map is absolutely outstanding. I love the way that the Smith Plays put it. This is a movie in a map. I mean, the setting is just so perfect. I mean, it's that perfect balance of horror and just, I don't really have the words to say, but just the setting, everything about it is just perfect. It's dark, it's moody, but it's not too over the top. And it just perfectly fits the characters as well. I mean, I love all of the characters. And by the way, just in case anybody else hasn't noticed this yet, the voice actor for Sal DeLuca is actually the same guy that voiced Smokey from the first Stuart Little movie. And yes, now that you've noticed it, you will not be able to unhear it. But anyway, the characters are great. I love the Pack-a-Punch, building the plane, fueling it up, going to the bridge, doing the Hell's Retriever steps. I'll admit, feeding the dogs might be the worst thing about this map, just because it is kind of painstaking to have to do it one at a time. But still, there is so much to love about this map. I mean, the Vitrolic Withering is an absolutely outstanding wonder weapon. It's not, an infinite kill weapon. I mean, that's the Hell's Redeemer's job. So this, as a defensive wonder weapon, it absolutely just works outstandingly. If you don't want to get the Vitrolic Withering, you can still get the Sweeper, which is still a great gun, although I don't know if I'd consider it a wonder weapon. I think it technically is, just because it's still like the upgraded version of the Blundergat. But at the end of the day, I love everything about this map. I mean, the layout of the map, just the fact that they were so dedicated that this map basically mirrors the actual layout of Alcatraz Prison. I just love it. The weapons on this map, that's another thing I love about it. I mean, you have the Death Machine as an actual gun. It kind of sucks that they didn't put it in as a pickup instead, but still, the Death Machine upgraded to the Meat Grinder. It's a really fun weapon to use, especially if you do have the balls to camp on this map. You've got weapons like the AK-47. Of course, you can grab the Tommy gun or the Uzis off the wall, which I absolutely love both of those guns. I know the Uzi gets a lot of hate, but seriously, guys, this weapon is just so fun to use. I know the biggest argument is that you have to reload it too often, which is true considering how fast you will go through this ammo. But at the end of the day, I think it just perfectly fits the aesthetic of the map. Just everything about it, the golden spork, the Easter egg. I absolutely love Mob of the Dead. I think it's the best zombies map. I'm not going to argue that it isn't close, because honestly, at the very least, all of the top 4 could probably have a run at my number 1 spot, but Mob of the Dead just pulls ahead perfectly. I think everything about this map just comes together so well. I think Brutus is a great, honestly kind of overlooked boss, in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, that's really all I've got to say here. I absolutely love Mob of the Dead, so it's my number 1 map. And if y'all agree with me, disagree with me, let me know down in the comments. Tell me what your favorite maps are. Tell me why. Tell me why my maps are stupid and why you think that my opinion is just absolutely wrong. If you have any more video ideas for me, of course, like I said, I've got the next few months planned, or the next 2 months, I should say, planned out. But, starting at the beginning of the year, I'm going to be kind of just going back to my regular old, just random video ideas. So if y'all have any, throw them down in the comments. I'd love to read them. I'd love to hear from y'all. Tell me what you want me to talk about. And yeah, that's pretty much all I've got for you today. So with all of that said, thank you for watching. God bless, and have a wonderful day.